I'm just thinking of today, the photo that Rufus Humphrey is trying to hide from people of him shaking Jared Kushner's hand at a celebrity event.
Yeah. Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve. I'm the newbie, the rookie, the greenhorn, what is the season 4 newbie called now, Leif?
Jenny was right. If we keep going, we'll both end up dead, and I like myself too much to let that happen. I assume you feel the same way?
I see no other option but a truce here, Leif.
All right.
So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since it first aired, and I'm diving in for the first time. And together, we are your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
Bring your magnifying glasses because each week we're dissecting every juicy detail of the show, one episode at a time. We'll connect the dots, uncover those sneaky little Easter eggs, and of course, serve up some piping hot behind-the-scenes tea. And expect some iconic moments from fandom as well, because what's a deep dive without a little drama?
And since we are all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always a seat for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab your mimosa, a cup of coffee, or roll up something from Chuck's stash, and let's go ahead and get into this.
Well, before we get into it, we got another tip.
What is it now?
Got a comment from Spotify.
Oh, thank you for getting in touch.
Yes. So James Salder 12345 wrote in, the movie title is, this was on the episode for Double Identity, and he says, the movie title is surely a reference to the classic Double Indemnity.
Oh.
And so like the undergraduates.
Right.
We thought it was one thing, and then there was also two different things between the Gossip Girl Wiki and also IMDb.
Yes.
This one, once again, the Gossip Girl Wiki said double identity, which was what we said in the episode, but the IMDb does say double indemnity.
Indemnity, yeah.
And then I looked at a couple others coming up. Goodbye Columbia, which we said was Goodbye Lenin. On IMDb, they say Goodbye Columbus.
Oh. We really need the tell-all behind-the-scenes book for this. Although, according to Norman Buckley, it wouldn't be too juicy. According to Norman Buckley, everybody just loved each other on that show, which makes me very happy, by the way.
But that is it for tips for today. So send your tips into wherever you prefer. You can get us on social media. You can email to the nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. Comment on Apple or on Spotify. And we will read your questions or comments on the air.
Yes. Thank you very much, James. We really appreciate you commenting.
And we are here to talk today about Season 4, Episode 6, Easy J. Original air date was October 25th, 2010. And, of course, was based on Easy A.
Yeah.
The 2010 film starring Penn Badgley and Emma Stone.
I forgot Penn Badgley was in that. I always forget that he is the star of that because I saw that before I knew Gossip Girl. So I didn't really know Penn Badgley.
That's the reason why he was so buff in Season 3.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that. So here's another question. Is this the first time one of their projects has been used as the title?
I was thinking that as well, and I didn't look it up. I know there are more to come. There's definitely some more to come. Coming up pretty soon, actually. But this might have been the first.
Serene Lantern.
This episode was written by Jake Coburn, who previously did episode 6 and 16 of last season, which were Enough About Eve and The Empire Strikes Jack.
Well, it stepped it up for this episode.
Yeah.
This one was definitely better than either of those.
Enough About You was okay. That was the freshman toast dinner one.
Oh, right.
Where Vanessa and Blair were going head to head.
Yes, I actually
and
did
then still
like
both
that
lost to Olivia.
Yes, I did like that one. Except I didn't like Olivia in parts of that one. But the Empire Strikes Jack, that whole storyline.
Yeah. And this episode was directed by Lee Chalet Chamel, who previously directed Season 1, Episode 8, 16 Candles, and has been a TV director since 1984, doing things like Family Ties, Spin City, Gilmore Girls, and The Middle.
Oh, right. I remember talking about her before because my friend Colleen is actually worked on The Middle and knows this director very well.
You're supposed to remember this episode to get her on.
I did reach out. I did try. I did talk to Colleen, but I wasn't able to get it back around. But Colleen does have wonderful things to say about her.
She's mentioned a little bit in this next comment. So Tim Gunn was in this episode.
Yes.
And after this episode, he was interviewed by E! News.
Oh, boy.
And he had this to say about young 17-year-old Taylor Momsen.
Uh-oh.
What a diva. She was pathetic. She couldn't remember her lines, and she didn't even have that many. I thought to myself, why are we all being held hostage by this brat?
Damn.
He goes on, I'd say, young lady, there are hundreds of thousands of girls that are just as attractive and even smarter than you. Why are you acting like this show is a huge burden on you? She was on her phone during every break. I wanted to tell her, if you were on your BlackBerry, you can retain the stuff. But wait, he wasn't done. I learned from teaching to stick with the topic. I don't get involved in character appraisals. I just ask her, do you want to share with me why you're always on your phone? At one point, the director leaned in and whispered to me, this day in, day out of my life. She annoyed the entire crew.
Damn. Contractually obligated to come back. We need you for an episode. And fine, I'll do it.
But a middle-aged man just going after a 17-year-old girl like that is it's vile.
It is. It is. Which it also just kind of shows that, like, that idea of looking for grown-ups in a kids to be grown-ups. Mm-hmm. That you have this 17-year-old girl doing 17-year-old girl stuff. And I also really hate the other people can do this thing, so you should love it more. When Taylor Momsen was very clear that she hated doing this.
And she was on the Warped Tour at this time, so this aired in October, so it was probably filming August to early September, which means she was probably on the Warped Tour at the time. It was probably communicating with her, band and logistics of getting back to her next date.
Yeah. I mean, she had another job at this point.
And admittedly, the performance was a little flat. But, But do you really have to go out in the media and call her pathetic and a brat?
Yeah. Just scorching her. and you're Tim Gunn. Like, he already had a career at this point.
Yeah.
He already... It was a little harsh.
Why don't you go ahead and read us that Vulture recap?
Okay. At first, Blair assumed her wait until dark themed nightmare was a literal interpretation of her fraught relationship with Chuck. He was lying in wait for me just like he was in real life, she tells Serena, of the mysterious intruder. Dream Blair struggled with, only it wasn't him, she says, mystified. It was a woman with long blonde hair. Serena, of course, couldn't care less, but the dream troubled Blair for the rest of the episode. Could the assailant have been Jenny Humphrey? Yes, she decided, although that, too, seemed facile. Trying to understand one's unconscious thoughts is a messy and difficult endeavor. It is fumbling about in the dark, blind, helpless, in a constrictive pencil skirt. You grasp at strands, wondering what the hell that thing is, and where it came from, and what it could possibly mean. But the answers are always elusive. In the end, it's Chuck who gives the best interpretation of Blair's dream. The menacing figure who grabbed her ankles and held her down while she struggled wasn't him or Jenny, it was herself. We're holding on to the pain because it's all we have left, he explains to her. We don't have to, we have a choice. And thus, another facet was added to the character of Chuck Bass. Naughtily dressed billionaire, twins enthusiast, and now speaker of profound truths.
Chuck.
Oh, Chuck.
We begin Act 1 with another Blair dream. This one is based around Audrey's Wait Until Dark. Blair is in a dark room being stalked by who we at first assumed to be Chuck, but when Blair reaches back to unmask her attacker, her hand pulls away with locks of platinum blonde hair and a diamond-studded headband.
This was also a stage play, because shortly before I got to high school, my school put on this play. Interesting to nobody but me.
And then Gossip Girl opens with this. They say waking up is hard to do, especially when you're not alone. They say that life is full of surprises, that our dreams really can come true. But then again, so can our nightmares.
Yeah.
So this scene kind of opens the door to the supernatural in the show.
It does.
Because it's a prophetic dream.
It is, yeah. And the grasping at the headband and
But the fact that Jenny was in town.
And Jenny being in town, that it was, you're right, it was
Blair
prophetic.
knew before Eric.
Blair knew before Eric. And her other dreams were also kind of prophetic, weren't they? Like, if you think about the Vanessa one.
The other ones were kind of self-fulfilling, though. This was like actually predicting something that was going to happen.
I was just saying that the Vanessa one, she didn't know Vanessa was going to be her rival, but the dream had it in there.
Fair.
But all in all, there is that element of Blair's preternatural ability to dream into existence.
Blair startles awake from her nightmare, but the scene quickly shifts to Serena waking up next to Colin, and she decides to sneak out without waking him.
I have so many words. So many words about this whole fucking episode.
Serena arrives back at the Waldorf apartment only to have Blair catch her doing the walk of shame. Blair drops a wicked burn when Serena reveals she spent the night with Colin, the cab stealer. Moving on, Serena tries to help Blair analyze her dream and on who her mysterious attacker really was. While it took a little longer than I thought, it appears that by the end of the scene, Blair has a strong suspicion of who it was.
So, yes. This
is my first laugh out loud of that moment of the episode.
Okay, yeah.
One of many.
Yes. I also...
You really showed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Burn.
I loved that. She was so good. But also I'm already so fucking annoyed with Serena and this. And I'll also say, I said last week that guy's a professor. Well, I don't remember if I said it on the podcast. I said it watching at home. I think it's in my live. I think I got that in my live take. But I remember sitting there thinking, like, that guy's going to end up being her professor.
Which is kind of funny because he probably wasn't at that time.
Maybe not. Well, and at first, it was because they were flirty. And I was like, oh, that guy's totally going to end up being her professor. But then it was like, oh, no, she's seen this professor. But I'm like, this isn't done. Like, let's put a pin in that.
Now, did you do any math on his age?
A little bit. I mean, if he's a professor at a university.
Well, he's not a real professor. So he is, let's say he's a businessman. So he went to at least undergrad for 4 years. So that puts him at 22.
Right.
Probably had at least an MBA.
Probably, which is
So
probably
2
at least
years.
2 more years.
So that's 24.
Yeah.
He started a successful business. Well, let's be generous and say 1 to 5 years
Yeah. I mean,
to make $1 million business.
yeah, as somebody who has a friend who did that, it was probably about 3.5 to 4 years before they could sell it for multi-million
So that puts him anywhere from 25 to 29.
Uh-huh.
Then he wrote a book about his business, which would have taken at least a year, at minimum. To write, edit, and publish.
Minimum a year.
So that's 30.
Right. And now that book has been out long enough to be a bestseller.
Yes.
Which I believe the cover had it even say bestseller, which means that's not the first printing.
Yeah.
Which means at least another year or two before he would get a bestseller.
So at a minimum, let's say 32.
32. Yeah. At a minimum. 32.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Because that's what I said. I said, this guy's got to be in his 30s. He, like you said, he has to at least have an MBA. He probably doesn't have a doctorate for being a guest professor, but he has to have credentials that no 20-year-old.
Yeah.
No one in their 20s.
He is successful enough in business to both write a book about it and then be named as a professor.
Yes. Yes.
At Columbia.
At Columbia. A book that other people in business are like, yes, read this. A book that impressed Lily Bass, who is, as we're supposed to believe, sort of a business genius.
Early savvy.
Yes.
Nate, on the way to visit his dad in prison, calls Dan and complains about how Juliet bolted after their big debut. Hey, Nate, maybe she noticed how awkward and lacking chemistry that scene was last episode. As he hangs up the phone, Nate sees Juliet waiting in line at the prison visitor center, and they are both shocked to see each other.
Yeah. Man, Nate. Oh wait, that's not here. It's the next time they see each other. You can go ahead because like they have the bump in.
Yeah,
but
nothing really happens yet.
Yeah, nothing really happens here.
Chuck is creeping on co-eds on the Columbia campus and bumps into Serena. Serena asks when is he going to be done tormenting Blair, to which he responds that he hasn't even started yet. Chuck is eager to meet the new businessman set to replace the guest lecturer who Chuck and Blair made quit last episode.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot that.
Yeah,
so then they hire this guy.
That's why I said he might not have been a professor last week.
Right, yeah.
When you guessed that.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying that.
That's really funny.
As Chuck enters the lecture hall, Serena is surprised to see Colin behind her. It looks like she just slept with her new professor.
Yeah, or didn't, but...
Yeah, as we do find out later, she didn't actually. At this point, though, I didn't really believe her.
You're right.
It wasn't until they had their conversation together that it was revealed that they actually didn't.
You're right. It's hard to trust what Serena actually says. And it also, immediately, the divide in our house between me being like, ew, I knew it, that's disgusting, that's so wrong, and Robin being like, that's hot. It's like, no, it's not. He's a fucking predator.
Blair gets off the elevator at the penthouse and slowly walks through the empty apartment. Eventually, she opens a bedroom doorway to find Jenny Humphrey staring back at her.
Yeah, bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, so it's very horror movie coded with like the loud footsteps in the empty apartment. You can't...
Yes, yes. It was well done. Well shot.
And Gossip Girl had this to say as we go to the first act break. They say life is full of surprises, that our dreams really can come true. Then again, so can our nightmares. Welcome home, Jenny Humphrey. We've missed you. Act 2 begins. Blair reiterates to Jenny that she banned her from Manhattan. However, Jenny is able to negotiate a day pass for her interview. The biggest condition is that Jenny must not speak to anyone while she is here.
Blair, you're such an asshole here. And just blaming Jenny for everything. I mean, she definitely blamed Chuck too. But laying all of this on Jenny and being so shitty, like, Blair, you deserve everything you get in this episode.
Juliet and Nate are sitting on a bench talking about how they ended up meeting each other at prison. Juliet proceeds to tell lie after lie to Nate. She didn't know about his dad. She's only at prison because she's teaching prisoners how to read. And then about getting a text message that her teaching session was canceled.
The one thing that I believe is that she didn't know his dad was transferred.
Yeah.
But other than that,
But she said she didn't know about the dad at all.
Right. Yes, she did. Nate, sweetie, if you weren't so dumb, she wouldn't find it so easy to lie to you.
So I'm not sure if this was purposeful or not, or just coincidence, but several times you got like a close-up on Juliet's earrings. Did you notice that? She was wearing like dagger earrings.
Oh, I didn't notice it, no, but that does make sense.
Blair finds Serena on campus to tell her about Jenny, but is quickly distracted when Serena reveals Colin is their new professor. Serena promises to tell Colin that the naughty business is off the table before exiting stage left.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how that goes, Serena.
Well, she can't help it. She got manipulated.
Yeah. But, again.
She went there with good intentions.
Yeah.
When Blair sees Chuck exiting the lecture hall, Blair grills him about Jenny being back in town and attempts to eavesdrop on his conversation with Arthur.
Yeah.
Quick scene.
Yeah.
After Chuck leaves, Blair calls over her minions and orders them to stake out the Vanderwoodson penthouse and to follow every move Jenny makes. The minions are still anxious to hear why Jenny was banned in the first place, but Blair shuts that shit down.
And that's what I love, is that Blair refuses to admit that Jenny and Chuck banged. And because of that, she's just digging herself deeper. Why are we following this girl around? Don't worry about it. Just do it.
We get a family brunch at the penthouse with Jenny, Eric, Dan, Rufus, and Lily. Where's Serena and Chuck? I love seeing Eric and Jenny friendly again. Lily praises Jenny's design sketches, but when Rufus invites the family to go out to dinner to celebrate after the interview, Jenny deflects and suggests staying in and eating chili tonight. Lily isn't too keen on the lingering smell.
I love how throughout the episode, Lily cannot let the chili thing go.
Well, Rufus blames it on the cumin. But I'm wondering, does Rufus make his chili with or without beans? And is the lingering smell really the farts he's ripping at bed at night?
Yeah, is it the chili itself, or is it the aftermath of the chili?
Eric and Dan follow Jenny to her room to figure out what's really going on. She tells them about Blair, but is indifferent to it. Dan offers to escort Jenny to her interview, but just as Jenny is declining, the three hear Chuck's voice out in the hall.
Chuck shows up, and good of Dan trying to be the big brother. And like you said, I also loved seeing Eric and Jenny being friendly. So
Dan goes out to confront Chuck, and Chuck claims he came to tell Jenny he was sorry, but he surreptitiously steals Jenny's sketchbook as Dan is herding him out the door.
I liked this scene. I liked the two of them together. I do feel like Chuck feels bad.
Yeah.
Right? I think that Chuck sincerely feels bad. I think that Chuck has a sort of soft spot for Jenny as well as using Jenny. I feel like Chuck is just kind of such a bad person that he doesn't know the line between using people that you care about. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think that in his sick, twisted way, Chuck does care, and Chuck does feel bad that he caused so much damage to Jenny. And I think that the apology is real.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's also using her at the same time.
Like stealing her stuff.
Yeah.
So just to fuck with Blair, like.
But yeah, he does get a couple of nice little digs at Dan there.
Yes, yeah.
You should be a writer.
Yeah, he does that a couple times in this episode. That is just so good. They're like, oh, there's that writer in you again. And like he says later on, like, really clever, Dan. You should be a writer.
Serena catches up with Colin in the quad. The conversation starts with Serena saying the right things, that they can't have a relationship because he is now her professor. We also learn that Serena was telling the truth about not actually doing the deed last night. However, by the end of the conversation, Colin has manipulated Serena into dropping the class and going on a date with him.
How bad do you want to get fired if you're a brand new professor and you're like, yeah, this guy here, I'm going to start dating students?
Again, he is a billionaire, and he's just doing this for fun.
Yeah.
And he just won the Bachelor of the Year award.
Yes.
The real question is, why is Columbia hiring this guy?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But like, just using his experience to just so easily manipulate Serena in the scene.
Yes.
Like, and came in there with all the right intentions, but by the end of the scene, she was dropping the class and going on a date with him.
Yeah. And we know now that it is all just a ruse for this guy to like fuck with her anyway, which we'll get to later. Well, I mean, that's what I was led to believe by the end of the episode.
Jenny is giving instructions to Vanya for delivering her dresses to the interview when she receives a call from Chuck. Chuck tells Jenny that he accidentally took her portfolio and that he will have it waiting for her at the front desk of the Empire. The one place she is definitely not supposed to go.
Super manipulative, super shitty. Like, sorry, I just have it here. You have to come get it. Sorry, my bad.
And Gossip Girl says this. Spotted. B's disciples on Little Jay's tail. Watch out, Jet. Break a deal with the devil, and there will be hell to pay. Act 3 begins. Jenny arrives outside the interview to find Dan and some type of coroner/assistant waiting for her. Dan wishes her luck, even though she doesn't need it. We get a cute hug between the siblings.
I thought that scene was a little awkward, like, oh, well, she's here waiting for you. I just thought it was weird for Dan to do that introduction where it could just as easily have been like, okay, let's go in.
Yeah.
It felt like a cameo. Like, it felt like that assistant was a cameo itself. I think
that was the only one that wasn't a cameo.
Right. I wonder if it was a contest winner, like Jean-Pierre said back in season 2.
Juliet gets a call from Ben, and she reveals that Nate's dad was transferred into his prison. Juliet kind of admits she's falling for Nate. Ben says he's okay with it, but his face tells a different story. We also get a hint about why Ben is in prison. After hanging up, Ben flags down another inmate and asks for an introduction to the captain.
Yeah.
Howie's back.
I have good things to say about Howie in this episode, too, by the time we see him later.
He seems to have turned it around.
Yeah, I'm very proud of Howie.
Serena is reading Colin's book at the penthouse when Lily comes home. When Lily sees the book, she congratulates Serena on taking such a challenging class rather than focusing on boys. They hug as Serena silently screams to herself.
Serena.
Jenny is interviewing with reality star Tim Gunn and gives him the Cliff Notes version of her last 2 years. When the models come out wearing Jenny's dresses, she is shocked to see the word whore painted on the dresses. Tim Gunn is disgusted by the display and immediately concludes the interview without giving Jenny a chance to explain.
Yeah, I felt like this was clumsy. That like these outfits come out and they say that, and your instinct is like, get her out of here. When she's like, wait, that's not what I didn't do that. Well,
if we go back to that interview from the beginning, this might have been like the 30th take.
Yeah.
And they were just like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Dan tries to stop Blair from entering the building where Jenny's interview is happening, but Blair is just there for the aftermath. Jenny, nearly in tears, comes out and knows Blair is the one who sabotaged her dresses. Blair hands Jenny a bus ticket and skedaddles.
That's no way to impress Dan. Which, I'm rooting for a Dan Blair. Dan Blair fallout
Yeah.
at some point here.
Yeah.
That's no way to achieve my goals for you, Blair.
Nah. Chuck sees a Gossip Girl blast about the incident and calls Dan. Chuck offers to get Dan and Jenny into the party where Tim Gunn will be later tonight, and Chuck even offers tickets for the whole family, so Jenny is forced to agree.
Still up to you. Still using Jenny
Mm-hmm.
for your gain, Chuck.
Although it is nice that it does lead to good things potentially for Jenny.
Yes, yeah.
The end
Again,
of it.
I think that it's Chuck's weird, like, I can make it up to Jenny and fuck over Blair.
Yeah,
at
he's
the
a
same
multitasker.
time. Yeah. He should write a book.
And Gossip Girl has this to say as we go to the next act break. Spotted Little J having a fashion emergency. Looks like B drew blood. Careful, Little J. Queen Bee doesn't grant second chances. She attacks at first sight.
Yeah.
We go into Act 4. Serena and Colin arrive at the party, but Serena is hesitant to be photographed with Colin because she doesn't want Lily to be disappointed in her. Serena ditches the red carpet for a less conspicuous entrance.
Serena's conflict here, I thought it was really well communicated and really made her character a little less typical one-dimensional Serena following the boys around. That she does want to impress her mom. And she knows that dating this guy is not going to impress her mom. And she knows why it isn't. She isn't naive to the fact that she does chase boys a lot and when she should be doing something else, or when her goals require her to do something else.
And she knows because, as the forums keep pointing out, this is just a complete rehash of the Trip storyline.
Yes.
So yeah, she knows exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
Lily and Rufus meet and greet with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner at the party.
Yeah, I love how familiar Rufus is with the Trumps, with the Kushners. Oh, good to see you again.
Was that a bit of a jump scare for you?
A little bit. We were both like, what the fuck? But like, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, Trump was mainly just a reality star, and Ivanka was heavily involved in fashion and stuff, so it makes sense she would be
and she was heavily involved in his show.
Yeah.
And was really the voice of reason on that show a lot of I actually watched The Apprentice.
I didn't realize she was on the show.
Oh yeah. When I actually watched The Apprentice for years.
That's too bad.
Yeah. No, but in all honesty, I really liked the show. I really liked the reality TV of let's build these businesses up. And also, the guy hosting wasn't talking politics while it was going on. He was just, this seemingly billionaire businessman that everybody knew the name of. He didn't come across as what he is now. So, yeah, I watched that show all the time until it started getting into the Celebrity Apprentice over and over, and then I wasn't as into it. I was into it when it was like people cutting their teeth in the business world. I like what they were doing. Then, it went to shit. And yeah, Ivanka had a big role on the show. Like literally sat at his right hand and would help make decisions. Would like ask questions and feed into the decisions, and was a big part of the show. Her and Don.
Yeah, I was pretty much done with reality TV by like the third season of Real World.
That's fair, but I never got into Real World. I hated Real World from the beginning. And I hated all of the reality TV that was just, let's put people in a volatile position and make them hate each other. So like I never got into Real World. I never got into Survivor. But then you had this new competition show that had a premise that engaged me.
I liked Real World because I was 13 and they showed risque stuff on there.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas for me, I had just gotten to the point, if you remember, Real World was very much played alongside 90210. The whole first season was, Here's what it would really look like. Here's the real life 90210 when people stop being nice and start being real.
Jenny is nervous about pissing off Blair more, but Dan and Eric force her to go to look for Tim Gunn.
Good getting her to do that.
I like how Dan and Eric are like her bodyguards all episode.
Yeah.
Serena, surprised to see Lily at the party, goes over to greet her mother. Lily sees Colin and points out how handsome he looks. Serena decides it's time she comes clean about dropping the class so she can bang the hot professor guilt-free. But before she can, Colin comes over and kisses Serena before introducing himself to Lily.
What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. Oh, she's just over there talking to that older lady. I'm just going to come over and say I don't give a shit what her mom thinks. How fucking dumb are you? Savvy businessman. Dumbass bachelor.
Or he just doesn't care.
Or he just, or he just doesn't fucking care.
The minions are wearing matching dresses and are unable to get into the party, so they call Blair to let her know that Jenny is there. After they hang up with Blair, they see Chuck entering the party with a tall blonde woman on each arm.
This isn't Congress. Get something done. And Chuck just waltzes by. Hey, ladies.
Jenny approaches Tim Gunn and apologizes for earlier and managed to snag a second interview. Before the scene cuts, Tim Gunn lets it drop that Chuck is the one who set up the initial interview.
And the way that scene cuts there, like, Jenny, play it off. It seems as though she didn't play it off. Chuck did this. I'll be right back, Tim Gunn, who I'm trying to impress.
What I'm questioning, did Jenny apply to Parsons? And if not, why wasn't she suspicious when she got a random interview?
Right. Because things like this just happen in the Gossip Girl universe. Tim Gunn just wants to interview me? Okay.
Juliet goes to visit Nate, and it seems like she is about to confess some things when Nate gets a call from the prison that his father has been jumped by some other inmates. As Nate rushes off, Juliet gets a text from Ben that implies he is responsible for the captain's beating.
Did you get my message?
Lily introduces Rufus to fashion designer Isaac Mizrahi.
Robin squealed for this one.
The minions finally get past the doorman and they track down Jenny, who is with Eric. Jenny, however, is not intimidated by mere minions and even gets a bit of intel off them. However, it sounds like the big bad Blair has arrived.
Yep. And the minions let out that they have no idea why Jenny was banished in the first place, aside from the obvious.
Blair has arrived, but runs into Chuck before she can find little Jay. Blair quickly figures out that Chuck orchestrated this whole thing. Chuck doesn't think Jenny will talk, but is interrupted by a blast. Jenny walks in and admits that the blast is true in a mic drop moment.
Yep. Give it up, Blair. Everyone knows I did, and to who.
And we get this kind of gross blast from Gossip Girl. Looks like New York's best-kept secret is finally out. Turns out Lil J didn't lose her V-card to Damien Dalgard. She waited and chucked it away with her stepbrother. Guess that explains the Humphrey and Hudson. Hell hath no fury like a Waldorf scorn. Looks like the joke's on Chuck and Blair, and Little J's got the last laugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just gross. Gossip Girl.
Still so obsessed with Jenny's virginity.
Yeah.
But a good quip.
Yeah.
Chucked it away with her stepbrother.
Chucked it away with her stepbrother is good.
We go into Act 5. We get a Dan and Jenny scene where it starts out with Dan comforting his sister, but then switches to judgmental mode because of her eagerness to jump back into scheming.
Yeah, it's funny. I usually want to get on Dan for being judgy. I'm not entirely upset with him this time. And it's because he's not entirely wrong, that it did take 5 minutes for Jenny to just get right back in and start swinging. And his delivery was harsh. Maybe you should go back to Hudson is a little harsh. But also Jenny did just get right back into this and start swinging. So I can understand how that concerns Dan, because he's seen her spiral.
I just didn't really see anything bad about this particular scheme. She was just basically taking back her own power and revealing her own secret.
I think it was more the reveling in them tearing at each other afterwards. Yeah. I think that Dan was more commenting on her on the aftermath, the way Jenny was like, "Yep, I'm back at it," Yeah.
Lily, in a surprising twist, is actually totally fine with Serena dating Colin, and even says someone like Colin will make Serena's life a whole lot easier. Looks like Lily is trying that old reverse psychology.
When she started laying that all into her, I was like, Robin was like, "Really, Lily?" And I was like, no. No, Lily knows exactly how to talk to her daughter. And that was perfect. Like, your life will just be easier with someone like that. Like all the things that Serena has heard from everyone, and now she's hearing it from Lily. Like, perfect, Lily. Perfect.
But I can get why Robin would believe her there, because it seems like something Lily would say.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly it, is that she kind of lived that life. Despite being very smart and despite graduating from Brown, Lily jumped from rock star to rock star in her youth and has married powerful man after powerful man. Like, It's her MO too.
Nate is in the prison hospital with the captain, who says he doesn't know the guy who beat him up. The captain affirms that he is still on the wagon, but is disappointed and couldn't make it.
I applauded everything about him here. He took accountability. He stayed clean. Nothing stronger than a Tylenol after I got my ass kicked in prison. And sits there and says, "You know what? I'm bummed your mom can't make it, but I understand why she isn't, and you're here, and that means the world to me." He didn't put anything on Nate. It's the first time Nate's had a scene with his parents that they didn't put some kind of bullshit on him. It's the first time that it was just being here and being with you is good enough for me. Captain Howie 2.0, I appreciate you.
Prison's done well.
And Nate getting him to turn himself in. It's just, he's living accountability, and that is modeling good fatherhood, even from a prison cell.
Colin is on stage accepting the Bachelor of the Year award. He starts talking about giving it up for the right woman when Serena, Lily, and Rufus leave the party.
If he ever finds that woman. The Bachelor of the Year award. Can we just talk about that for a second? How this guy was like auditioning by like making sure that someone caught him putting women in a cab every morning. Don't forget to vote for me. What a dumb award.
Yeah.
The award for a dude who bangs the most in New York.
Outside the event, Jenny finds Chuck and Blair arguing. She points out that together they were invincible, but now that they have turned against each other, they will inevitably destroy each other. Dan sees Jenny walking away and is once again proud of his little sister.
I loved that scene. I'll never beat you, Blair. You'll eventually come back on top and win, which is why I'm not sticking around, which is why I'm getting the fuck out of here. But you two will destroy each other. Do it.
And Gossip Girl has this to say. We hear little Jay gave Chuck and Blair a goodbye kiss. Of death. We move into the epilogue. Serena goes to leave a note under Colin's office door, but finds him there working late. They agree to put off their romance until after the class.
Again, the late night in his office thing.
Better than his apartment, like Blair said.
Yeah, better than his apartment, like Blair said. It also reminiscent of Trip, of the going back and breaking up with Trip.
Yep.
Oh, I just wanted to slide this note under your door.
We get a nice goodbye scene with Dan putting Jenny into a cab back to Hudson.
She takes the train in, but takes a cab back to Hudson.
I wonder what that bill was.
That's...
But, I guess Lily is a billionaire.
Yeah, I don't think they worry too much about cab fare.
Chuck goes to Blair's apartment. He says it was fate that broke them up and it was no one's fault. He asks to call a truce, to which Blair grudgingly agrees.
I really liked this. First of all, this scene was shot really well. It was acted pretty well between the two of them. And the whole, if this would have happened differently, we fell to fate, and that is what ended this. And we're going to destroy each other, and we're going to be dead, and I like me too much to do that, and I assume you feel the same way. And the sticking the hand out, and then making the contact and pulling away, and then Blair closing the door, and you can just see how shook she is. And it's because you can't hate someone without loving them. And for her to close that door, she knows that the hating each other was the only thing keeping them together. And if they're going to call this
just like Chuck said.
Yeah, it's just like Chuck said. That was what they had, and now they're just letting it go. And it's gone now.
Let's hope it sticks.
Let's hope it sticks. I don't care if they get back together. I just don't.
Take a break.
Just go bang Dan. Both of you. Both of you. Both of you.
Yeah.
Go bang Dan.
Yeah. A tearful Juliet gets a call from Nate, and she breaks up with him. Juliet hangs up when she hears the ding of the elevator. And who gets off the elevator? None other than Colin. It appears Serena's new boyfriend is financing Juliet's Ivy League lifestyle.
Or is he financing this whole thing with Ben and Juliet? Which was my take. Is Juliet is working for Colin.
But we know Ben's the one with the grudge.
We do. But I don't know how deep that grudge goes. I don't know what the connection is. And I could only see if he's so interested in Serena and they're so interested in Serena, it feels tied together right now.
Yeah.
As a first time watching, it feels to me like they were putting them very specifically together.
Fair. But what is he financing on a monthly basis?
And that's what I don't know. The brother is in prison. I mean, is he a sugar daddy of some sort to her? I guess that's why I feel like it has to be tied to the scheme. That Juliet has to have something in it for her. She doesn't seem thrilled to be taking that check, right? She doesn't seem to be, it seems like there's regret in taking that money to a degree. So that's why it makes me feel like it's all tied in to the scheme.
Okay. Well, Gossip Girl ends the episode with this monologue. They say war is not the answer, but sometimes it's a battle just to keep the peace. On the Upper East Side, you may stand down, but you can never give up. But our most dangerous enemies are the ones we never knew we had. So, if you want peace, always be prepared for war. XOXO Gossip Girl.
That was the other reason why I had that thought. The enemies are the ones you don't even know. And I know Nate doesn't know that Juliet is the enemy, but it also felt to me like Colin is the enemy.
That is our episode. What other predictions do you have? Besides Colin is the enemy.
Colin is the enemy. I believe that we're going to see something, or I think that Nate is going to put together that Juliet was involved with his dad getting beat. I think that Nate somehow is going to put things together. He'll have help, I think. I'm sure someone will help him put the pieces together. I think that Serena and Colin are going to have a very annoying, sexual tension heavy plot line that is already disgusting to me. As a teacher, as somebody who has dreamt of teaching college, that's been my dream for years, to be a college professor. And to me, the relationship with my students has always been so sacred and has always been, it's been so important to keep a divide. And it is so gross to me whenever, if you remember the Rachel Carr storyline, I was just as appalled, and it just absolutely sickens me. So I really hope that Colin just gets hit by a bus or something, but I don't think I'm going to be that lucky.
Anything else?
Dan and Blair, I feel, are inching closer together. They had a little bit of screen time today.
Is that the last we see of Jenny?
I don't know. Her coming back was a surprise to begin with to me. I honestly thought she was done. So I kind of wonder if we'll get a couple more cameos throughout this season, maybe especially toward the end of the season when they really like to shake stuff up. So I think maybe we'll see her again. I think that we will stop seeing her name in the titles either halfway through this year or next year.
Anything else?
I felt like I did have something else, and it is slipping.
Chuck and Blair.
Yeah, it was. I Chuck and Blair, I feel like are at a perfect point to reboot, right? They're at a good point to season one it again, go back to dating whoever, not being in each other's sights.
Well, if you remember, episode 7 is traditionally a Chuck and Blair episode.
Was that just 6 that we did, or is it?
This is 6 we're just doing right now.
We're doing 6 right now. So episode 7 is typically a Chuck and Blair episode. So, okay. Although sometimes, no. I can already just tell.
All right, well, let's get into segments. This week in fandom, we jumped into the Wayback Machine to travel to the fan forums from 2010.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman.
Hello.
Good boy.
And this week, the episode is much better than last week.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was better. One other thing that I meant to say, there is that possibility hanging out there of Colin being Gossip Girl. There is that Juliet had the whole framework that they gave us that minute that they wanted us to think that she was Gossip Girl. When I saw them connected, I had the thought of, could he be Gossip Girl? That was the other, it's not a prediction, but the other thought that I had.
Dan and Eric were great brothers for Jenny this episode.
Yeah.
They were disappointed that there was no Chuck versus Ivanka interaction. Probably it was revealed beforehand that Ivanka would be in the episode.
Yeah. And
they are all expecting the Bats versus Trump thing to come into play.
Yeah. And yes, he's made comments about her before too.
Yeah.
She's, I believe at this point in her early 30s. I think she's around my age. I think she's a year or two younger than me, or maybe older. But, and so, yeah, she would have been like 12 years older than Chuck, but I also...
That wouldn't have really mattered for Chuck.
That wouldn't have mattered. I would have loved to have seen some history there. Although I could also see Ivanka not playing along.
Yeah. Glad that we're getting a Nate story that's non-romantic.
Yeah, okay. And it was a great scene. Yeah. I'll go back to that again. That it was nice again, like you said, Nate's romance tends to be boring. Juliet a little less so because it's not a real romance, because there's something else underneath. There was with Bree, but we know it all along here.
Even more confused about Colin and Juliet.
Yeah, yep, fair. Same.
They seem to think Colin does genuinely like Serena.
Maybe.
Everyone does.
Everyone does.
So
Yeah.
there was quite a bit of debate on whether Jenny will be back or not.
I don't think right away. I think they very clearly sent her off again to Hudson. But I feel like if the plot could use her again, that they'll bring her back.
And finally, people were surprisingly pissed off at Chuck.
It was shitty to take Jenny's stuff.
And not about that, about the last scene.
About calling a truce?
About saying it was no one's fault. They thought it was his fault.
It was his fault that he slept with Jenny. That was his fault. The timing of sleeping with Jenny.
So what they were kind of more mad about was the fact that the emphasis was taken off the indecent proposal. The emphasis was moved to sleeping with Jenny, when the indecent proposal should have been the thing that kept them apart.
Yeah. Which was
Chuck's fault.
That was Chuck's fault, yes. Honestly, yeah. Blair should have
Not forgiven him.
Forgiven him in the first place. And while we're at it, he should have fucking died in Prague.
Yes.
I do like what they're doing with Chuck. I do like how Chuck has seemed to kind of grow up, is trying to do some accountability, but then he's still doing the same stupid
we've
shit.
seen this before, though. This is what they did in season 2.
Yeah. And they should have just killed him.
Let's move over to episode grades. You went first last time, so I will go first this week. Like the fans, I agree this is a much better episode. I had multiple laugh out loud moments in the episode. And
the Chuck Dan stuff was so good.
Yeah. I laughed at Lily's little reverse psychology thing, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Yes.
But yeah, the acting was good pretty much all around, except for Taylor was a little flat. I will say that. But
probably really tired from being on tour.
And she just didn't care.
Yeah, and she didn't care. Line. I just see her sitting there. Hello, line. Hello, Tim Gunn.
Line.
Can I just chew gum and someone just mouth the words over for me?
Can we get this in ADR?
Yeah, we just do this in post.
But I ended up landing on a B+.
Yeah, that is actually where I land as well. I thought it was a good episode. The little things that kind of annoyed me character-wise and not production-wise, and which when a character annoys me, I think it's a good thing. So I thought it was, I'm going to land there too, a B+.
Moving over to Stockwatch. Going up, I had Jenny because she got her second interview, and it looks like she's going to possibly going to Parsons, and she's above all the scheming at this point. I had Dan going up because even though he had that one little blip there, he was overall a good brother this episode. I had Rufus going up because he was hobnobbing with the elites of the Upper Side. Lily, once again, just having a great time, so she goes up. And Eric for the same reason as Dan.
I'm just thinking of today, the photo that Rufus Humphrey is trying to hide from people of him shaking Jared Kushner's hand at a celebrity event.
Yeah.
Like,
Who do you have going up?
First of all, Jenny going up for ending on a high note and possibly getting into Parsons, getting the interview. I have Dan also going up and Eric for being good big brothers. I have Lily going up for outsmarting Serena in using reverse psychology to get her daughter to do the things. I thought that was funny. I think that she got a leg up doing it. I'm giving her the up. I am going to think. And I'm Howie. Howie goes up for me. Howie, good job.
I'm going to add him on there. I did not, but I will add him.
Yeah. Howie, congrats. Good job. And you know who else I'm going to give an up to? I'm going to give an up to the minions because they did the task they were assigned. They did everything they were supposed to do, and it led to them getting the information they've been trying to get all along. And now they kind of got boosted a leg up on Blair because of that. So I'm going to give them, the minions, a collective up as well. And I believe that is all.
For me, going down, Tim Gunn, douchebag.
Tim Gunn, douchebag.
Just for his comments in real life, he goes down.
Fair.
I had Blair going down because, she got schemed. Mm-hmm. Chuck going down because he was a dick. I had Serena going down because she's repeating the same mistake she always repeats. Mm-hmm. I have Colin going down because he's a creepy manipulator. Mm-hmm. And I had Juliet going down because she got dumped she did the dumping, but she was forced into it. And yeah, she just doesn't look good for her at the moment. And then finally, since she was mentioned.
Yep.
Vanessa.
I was going to do it too. Honestly, everyone that you said word for word. Did you say Nate? Because
I did not have Nate.
I had Nate going down too for getting dumped. But other than that, I had everyone that you said. Tim Gunn, Serena, Chuck and Blair, and Vanessa for getting mentioned in the very first scene. When Dan was like, yeah, she moved in with her parents, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, Vanessa's stock went down.
I assume Colin as well.
Colin as well, yes. Colin for being a creep.
Anyone else?
I said Nate. I will also say Jared and Ivanka just because I can.
Fair enough.
They added nothing to the episode.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
Moving to best outfits. Another weak.
Really weak. Really weak.
I almost went Dan again for having another nice black suit, but in the end, I actually gave it to Penelope and the minions for their matching white and silver dresses.
Okay, so...
And their cool jewelry, too.
So this whole episode, I'm like, the fashion in this just doesn't pop. There's nothing really in it. Serena's dress is just another boob dress.
Yeah.
That it's just a black styled dress to show off her boobs. Chuck is wearing that weird bow tie that's sticking out from the collar, and I've always hated that style. Just nothing popped. And then I'm watching, and it's like the most interesting outfits in this episode were the minions.
Yep.
They were coordinated, and they were meant to look lesser than everybody else. You have them in these neutral colors to not draw a lot of attention, which ended up just making them really kind of pop because they did it together. I felt like Lily could have stood with them and maybe would have matched. She had a similar color scheme going on, which I also felt was to diminish from Serena's outfit. So, yeah, I also was giving it to the minions as well.
Okay. Well, that is it for segments. Anything you want to plug this week?
I have been watching Peacemaker, and I've been watching Alien Earth. Both have been entertaining shows, so you should give that a watch if you're into it. And you can find me on Instagram or TikTok, steve.marchon, Marchion. Or you can find me at The Weed Wizard on Blue Sky. So go ahead and give me a follow.
Well, nothing for me to recommend this week, but if you want to follow me on Instagram or Blue Sky, I am at Hot Capicola. That's HOTCAPICOLA. You can follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. You can also find links to our Discord server, to our Patreon, and our subreddit on our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
And if you would like to get in touch with us, we would love to hear what you have to say. Please send us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com, and we would love to read what you have to say here on the air and love to get in touch and have the conversation expanded. Also, while you're listening, if you could hit that like or subscribe or follow button and leave us a comment, that really helps with our visibility in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we really appreciate those who have left comments in the past. And finally, go ahead and tell your friends what you're listening to here. and get them to listen to the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod and make us the water cooler talk for you at work next week.
Indeed. And we will be back to talk about Season 4, Episode 7, War at the Roses. The episode description reads, Blair is caught off guard, and not in a good way, by a surprised guest at her birthday party.
It's going to be Aaron, isn't it? It's going to be Aaron. And because I saw the title. I didn't read the description. I saw the title, War of the Roses. And honestly, if Eleanor and Cyrus, I kept wanting to say Cecil. If Eleanor and Cyrus break up, I will not be okay. Because they're my favorite couple on the show, to be honest.
Fair enough. Until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me